welcome to this next video in this series. I think this is video number 4, where we are creating or recreating a out-of-print board game from Upper Deck, and that is Legendary Encounters, an alien deck building game. So last video we created the playmat and it came out great. Problem is, didn't fit in the box. So I originally thought that box would work. It was naive. I should have measured everything out first. I didn't. So I was a big Maya guy, but guess what? I jumped from Maya to Blender. Blender is fantastic. I did go searching for another box. I did find one. If I find the picture, I'll post it here. The problem was that box was too tall. I'm like, well, I got to make my own box. What I did was I measured out the cards, sleeved with a Magic Gathering card using as a backing, and I measured it out. And what I came up with was this. So what you're seeing here is the cards, the actual size of the sleeves, and these are stacks of 100. So there are 600 cards here. So we need 2 rows of these. So we got 2 rows, and of course we have the playmat, which will sit in the middle, and then we're going to have 2 pieces of foam board. I'm going to be using foam board to make this box. Hopefully it will be sturdy enough to hold it. So that's what we got. So based on this, we have a bottom, and this is going to be 30 centimeters by, if I bring up my measurements, what do we got here? 30 by 60. All right. So the actual board that I'll be buying from the dollar store, $2 a pop. I'm going to buy 3 just in case I mess up on some of the foam board. So instead of gluing the sides, instead of cutting out the base and then gluing the sides, I want to use a 45-degree cut angle. So what you're seeing here is board laid out, and then I'm going to do these 45-degree cuts. In fact, if we come in here, I don't know, I tested it out here. So here we go. So if I hide this one, you can see there's a 45-degree cut. Let me just try and zoom in here. There we go. And the idea is that this will rotate up and it will close that gap. You see that? Actually, if I come down here, we go. Let's put it to 90. So there you go. So we'll get that going. And that's the idea. And that's going to be done for all 4 sides. Let me just go ahead and close up all these sides. Right? So there it is. That's the bottom of the box. And I'm also going to put some foam board going across here to hold in the playmat. And there's also a lid that is going to be used. I want to make it the same way, and when it sits, there should be a little bit of space on the bottom, and hopefully it'll be strong enough and it won't fall apart because it's just going to be foam board. So let's go ahead and start. All right, so I picked up some foam board from the dollar store. It's $2 a pop. So another $6 added to my budget. So what we're going to need here is a ruler. I like to use it in metric, some push pins, and this thing I 3D printed, which is a 45-degree angle cutter. And of course, a big metal ruler that I picked up from Home Depot a while back. Usually used for drywall, but this comes in really handy when you're cutting big slices of foam board. And of course, a sharp knife, brand new blade. If you want smooth edges, you need to have a brand new blade. So this is the idea of how it works. So basically you score your measure line, and then whatever the thickness is of the foam board, along the edge of that score line, you cut at a 45-degree angle, and it should give you this perfect 90-degree angle. At least that's the theory. I tested on this little piece of scrap, and it worked out great. So up next, I need to trim down the board on one side because, due to the measurements. And this is where the push pins come in. So basically you measure where the lines have to go, and you put the ruler against the pins. And what I usually do is take pins and put it behind the ruler as well, just to secure it. And then you go ahead, make your cut, and you can see how smooth that cut is because it is a brand new blade. These blades dull pretty much after a couple of these projects. But anyway, so there's the score line. And then I did the same thing with the pins. I'm not pressing through, just lightly. And then you take your millimeter ruler. I use millimeters. And the thickness of the board here is about 4 millimeters. So 4 millimeters from the center line from either side. And then you take your 45-degree angle cutter. And one thing I realized is I need a piece of scrap to complete the cut. So if you want to try something like this yourself, keep that in mind. Then you can just go on both sides and you get this groove. And it just pops out nice. It's so satisfying, by the way. And there it is. There's our perfect 45-degree angle. So we're ready to go and make our score lines on all sides. Here's the thing I was talking about earlier, putting the pins behind the ruler. This is something you should do if you want accuracy and you don't want it to slide around. And yeah, I continued the grooves, and there they are. I just got to cut out these corners here by cutting right through, and there it is. We have pretty much the bottom of the box ready to be glued. But first I'm just going to test to see if I do get a 45-degree angle here, and it's pretty much perfect. I'm not using a square yet. I did have a square, I just didn't film it. I'm going to be using this glue. I've never used it before. Aleene's tacky glue. It's supposed to be really good when it comes to foam. And yeah, and as you can see here, I'm using the push pins to hold it in place, and I overused glue but I clean that up after. It's fine. So after that's done, there is the cover I made the next day. And yeah, one little problem though, it came out great. On the corner it popped open because I didn't add enough space to compensate for the micro misalignment of the box. But as you can see, it's pretty straight, and we have that little lip at the bottom. So what I'm going to do, it's not a big deal because right now I'm just doing this quick little patchwork to fill up that gap. I also reinforced it with some tape. But we're going to do something with the corners in the next video anyway, so it really doesn't matter. So I'm going to put this roll of tape here just to show you how big this thing is. So I took my son's old Lego sets, and I used them as spacers. I should have done more and used it in the middle, because when I ended up gluing this, it was a little bit cockeyed, and I created these card inserts, and I had to adjust them because these center dividers were a little bit skewed. So everything's fitting great. I glued it in, and while it was drying, I took my backing cards, Magic the Gathering land cards, and I sleeved 1,200 cards to accommodate the core and the 2 expansions. So once that was done, I'm using these foam blocks for trading cards. And you'll notice at the bottom there's these strips of felt. These are some scraps I had from another project, and it's just felt with adhesive backing. And the reason why I put them on the bottom is you'll notice here when I put the cards on the side that doesn't have it, they just slide really easily, and it's really annoying when you're trying to put the cards back. So I needed some grip at the bottom. So as you can see here, with just that strip, I didn't need to do the whole bottom. They don't slide. You really got to apply pressure for them to slide. And I also applied it to the sides of the box as well, just to hold everything in place. So now with all the cards done, I wanted to get the dividers out of the way. And like I said in the previous video, I am going to create 3 symbols for each, for the core and the 2 expansions. So here is the core symbol, the egg. and these are the dividers. Using thermal laminate 3mm to create these. And here is my slicer. This is the best slicer I've made cards, print and play games using the slicer. It is the best one in my opinion. So basically you just line up your crop marks like that, and you go ahead and slice it, and then you take off the corners with this corner cutter, and it gives you a nice rounded corner as opposed to a sharp corner. And yeah, so I continued that with the rest of the cards, and you know what, here's the thing, it makes some pretty good cards. You have to be pretty accurate in your cutting because you don't want one card to be bigger than the other. But yeah, you could pretty much use these as cards. The only problem is because I'm using 3mm, there's a little bit of warping in the middle, whereas 5mm would be nice and flat and thick. So here are the other inserts for this. Is the blue one is for the the 2019 expansion, and the yellow face hugger is for the 2016 expansions. And once again, you can see how you could use these as cards. You just have to be meticulous when cutting, like I said, because if you're going to do a print and play game, you don't want to know what cards come in next. So I mean, it's pretty good, it's pretty accurate. There's a little bit of you know, very micro misalignment with the cards, or in terms of height, but it's non-noticeable, and you could tell there you can see that wobble in the plastic right there. I mean, it's fine. I don't know if I would use that technique because it would make the deck really, really thick. So here it is. So here is the inserts with all the proper cards installed, and you'll notice the top corner of the card, there is the amount of cards that are supposed to be in that section. And yeah, it's working out great. Look at that. So it's all divided, all nice. Now the problem is, for some reason, maybe I miscounted, but I had 2 cards left over, and I'm pretty sure there's supposed to be 1,200 cards. So I don't know what I got wrong. It was probably in the Covenant expansion. I gotta go back and make sure I counted all the cards properly that are supposed to be in there. But outside of that, we're done for this video. In the next video, we're going to take care of the cover, and you're going to see what we're going to do with the cover. There's going to be some 3D printing involved, involving the corners. As you can see here, we got to cover up that corner, and the corner is not going to be a big issue because again, we're going to cover it up with some 3D printing. So there you go. That is that's it for this video, and I'll see you in the next video where we'll be continuing working on this cover.